Hi, thank you for the question. What social problems do I see in our community that, if elected to the council, I would like to see addressed? And they are different sides of the same coin. First is the economic inequality that exists in our community, and also the difference in education based on their socioeconomic status that our children are receiving. And um, I believe that by not making sure all of the children in the district are receiving the same education and opportunities, we increase the likelihood that will cause these children to stay in the socioeconomic status that they currently are, especially the lower end. And that seems like we're scaling the problem up. So, in order to avoid this, I think that we can just start asking the right questions. Um, and, basically using a symbolic interaction theory to ask the right questions. So, the first question would be: is any child's future, based on their economic status, more important than another child's? As parents, I know we all say no. Most people are going to say no. So then that leads us to the next questions. Why? We have data from the US Census Bureau, we have our own data, Department of Education, all of these folks have data on socioeconomic differences. So, in education. So, we have the data, so we don't need to go out and do more research. I think we need to look at the research that we have and start asking the right questions. First off, why does this exist? I already addressed that part. And then what can we do to make sure that they all get the same education? What opportunities or what programs are not being offered or being offered to some and not the other? We start asking those questions, I believe we start coming up with solutions. And I will give you an example. At the elementary school level, we noticed that reading comprehension scores were very low. This is when I was in the PTA. And we noticed that they were very low, and we're trying to figure out why. Teachers were doing their job, but part of the program was that the younger elementary kids were to go home. Their assignment was to go home and read to their parents. And we have a large community, a very large community, where English is the second language in the home. And with further asking of questions why this reading wasn't happening or what was going on, we identified that a lot of the non-English speaking parents felt a little ashamed that they didn't know how to speak English or how to speak it well, and became very frustrated and felt alienated and didn't want to see their kids see them like that. So they weren't practicing this. Then the next question is, how do we solve this? Because again, the kids are the ones that are going to bear the burden of not being able to read correctly. And maybe it's just not correctly until a later date. Well, what we coupled with was the local community college, who started offering English classes for free on the campuses, at the elementary school campuses. And the turnout was incredible. People came, parents were saying that they were excited to let their children see them trying to better themselves, and so they were reading together in this class, and it made the reading comprehension scores the next year skyrocket. It was a very simple solution, but we just had to ask the right questions. Another example would be what we do with our college bound kids, our high school graduates. A local college, UC College, offered to take them to visit campuses, the graduating seniors, to visit campuses to get an idea of where they might want to go to college. And we noticed in our more affluent neighborhoods, there was a lot of participation, really low in the lower uh, economic status neighborhoods. So um, again, started asking questions. And first question was, when a student comes into high school, we noticed that in the lower economic communities, that they were interviewed by counselor, what have you, what their plans were, and after that, nothing else. So maybe they had plans to go to school, go to higher learning, 4-year college. Those students that said that seemed to participate in the program. Those that didn't say that, and maybe were going to go for a trade or whatever, they definitely didn't participate. But one of the things that we found out is that by asking the right questions again, is did their plans change over the 4 years they were in high school, or 3 years? Um, yeah, a lot of them changed. They got exposed to different things. That's what high school does. So they changed their minds and never, ever had the opportunity to go back, talk to a counselor, and get on a college program. So they assumed they didn't take the right classes, it was too late, so no participation. The participation was low. How do we solve that? The way we solve it is make sure that we're doing those interviews on a yearly basis, and that's one of the things we did at one high school. We also made sure how we roll out these programs. Remember before I talked about how we have a large English as a second language community. Well, if we're rolling out a program to go to a 4-year college and we're not letting the parents know it exists, so they can't just have a discussion with their high school kid that this exists, um, then the chance for failure is even higher. So by asking the right questions, by using the symbolic interaction theory, we can garner some solutions. We can garner some answers. We can garner solutions, and we can help solve this problem and not keep scaling this up. So that is that's my ideas. That's what I would like to do. And same, like I said, it's the same, different coin, or same coin, different sides, as far as the economic inequality. We just got to make sure we're asking the right questions, make sure the programs that we're wanting folks to use to get into a different status are being rolled out the right way, or being advertised, and what have you. So those are my ideas. Thanks for asking.